Okay, whatever you think you know about AI, you might want to hit the reset button. Because here in 2026, we're not just looking at another small update, we're right in the middle of a complete overhaul, a fundamental reset in how AI is even imagined.
I mean, really think about it for a second. We've got all this incredible AI power sitting in our pockets, on our desks, but it still feels kind of clunky, right? Limited. It can answer a direct question, sure, but it doesn't really get what you're trying to do. It could write an email, but it can't manage your inbox. Well, that gap, that frustration, that's exactly what's changing right now.
And that's why we're calling this the AI reset. It's not about making one single gigantic model a little bit smarter. No, this is a total paradigm shift. It's a move away from that brute force, bigger is better approach of the last few years and towards something way more precise, more specialized, and ultimately more intentional. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll dig into what this AI reset really is. Then, we'll explore the rise of what's called Agentic AI, these proactive little helpers. We'll also see how AI is finally learning to understand us beyond just our words. Look at how this is all being used in the real world, and then we'll wrap up by looking at what the future of intent holds.
All right, so first up, what is actually driving this big reset? Well, it's a huge pivot away from those one-size-fits-all AI models of the past, and a move towards something much, much smarter. Think of it like this. The old way was to build a single monolithic AI, a polymath, that tried to be a jack of all trades. And, well, it ended up being a master of none. The new way? It's all about decomposition. It's like building a team of specialists, smaller, expert AI models that each do one thing incredibly well, and then they all work together in a coordinated way. This whole idea has a name, designed cognition. And the really cool part, which research from MNLP 2025 really hammered home, is that this approach lets us use small, super efficient models, MLLMs, that can run right on your phone or laptop. Now, this is not just about being faster. It's a huge, huge win for privacy, because your personal data never has to leave your device. So this new architecture of specialized models, it sets the stage perfectly for the second pillar of this whole reset. And that's the move from an AI that just sits there waiting for you to an AI that actively gets things done for you. And this slide just nails the difference. We all know generative AI. It's reactive. You give it a prompt, it spits out a response. End of story. Agentic AI is a whole different beast. It's proactive. You give it a goal, and it figures out the steps, finds the tools it needs, and goes to work to make it happen, all by itself.
So let's be super clear on what we mean here. An agentic AI is a system that has, well, agency. It can make its own decisions, it can look at a situation, reason about what it needs to do, and then take action to achieve some complex, multi-step goal, and it can adapt on the fly if things change. It's about doing, not just generating.
Now, to keep this from being total chaos, the industry has started to standardize on a set of blueprints called Agentic design patterns. For example, there's reflection, which lets an AI check its own work, kind of like proofreading an email before hitting send. There's planning, which breaks a big goal like plan my vacation into smaller steps. Then there's tool use, which lets the AI actually connect to an airline's website to book the flight. And finally, multi-agent is the pattern that acts like the team coordinator, making sure all those little specialist AIs are working together.
Let's zoom in on that planning pattern for a sec, because it's at the heart of how these things work. It's a simple loop. First, the agent plans one small step. Then it takes that action. Then, and this is the crucial part, it reflects. Did that work? What's different now? Based on that, it adjusts the overall plan. And then it just repeats the cycle. This is what gives agentic AI the power to handle the messy, unpredictable real world. But for an AI to really act on our behalf, it has to understand what we actually want. And let's be honest, we communicate so much more than just the words we type. This brings us to the third big shift, making AI multimodal. The field is called multimodal intent recognition, or MIR for short. And it's all about one thing, teaching AI to understand us the way we understand each other. Because when you think about it, human communication is naturally multimodal. We use words, tone of voice, body language, the whole package. So today's most advanced systems are looking at three core channels. You've got the textual signals, that's the easy part, the literal words we use. Then you have visual cues, things like facial expressions or gestures from a video feed. And finally, you have acoustic features, the tone of our voice, the pitch, the rhythm, all that stuff that tells you if someone is excited or sarcastic or upset. This is where things like affective computing really come into play, helping the AI grasp the emotional layer.
And here's the magic. By fusing these three signals together, the AI can finally start to get the subtext. It can pick up on the nuance, the sarcasm, the hesitation, all the rich information that is completely lost when you're just looking at a line of text. This is how you get to a real understanding of human intent.
Okay, so this is all really cool, but how is it actually being used? We've got these specialized, planning, multimodal agents. Let's see how they're being put to work, especially where the stakes are incredibly high, like with privacy and safety.
So one of the most incredible breakthroughs is in something called privacy-preserving intent orchestration. It's a mouthful, but the idea is simple. It lets someone, say a compliance officer, just state a privacy rule in plain English. Something like, make sure no sensitive patient data ever gets processed outside of Germany. And get this, the AI takes that simple English sentence and automatically writes all the complicated low-level server and network rules to enforce it. In recent studies with GPT-4o, it got it right 95.6% of the time. I mean, that is an absolute game changer for making privacy easier to implement.
So it's no surprise that this new way of doing AI is already making huge waves in critical industries. We're seeing it in proactive healthcare, where systems can help with preventative care, and of course, we're seeing it in autonomous vehicles, where understanding intent is, quite literally, a matter of life and death.
For a self-driving car, it's all about predicting the future. To figure out if a pedestrian is about to step off the curb, the system does three things. First, it looks at their movement history. Where have they been going? Then, it uses a technique called multi-head attention to focus on the most important details in the scene. And finally, an intention recognition module puts it all together to make a prediction. What are they going to do next? That split-second anticipation is what makes these systems so much safer.
So as we start to wrap up, where is this all heading? Well, it's pretty clear we're moving out of the era of just prompting an AI and into a whole new future of engineering intelligence itself.
And if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. The future of AI isn't about crafting the perfect, clever prompt to feed into a giant black box. It's about engineering. The real advantage, the real secret sauce, isn't the model anymore. It's the intelligence of the entire system you build around it, that designed cognition. And that shift leaves us with a pretty profound question to think about. As our job changes from just talking to an AI to actually engineering these complex, autonomous agents, we have to ask ourselves, who's really the architect here? Are we designing the future? Or are we building the agents who will one day design it for us?